I believe from experience that if you're planning to buy an SUV, then you can only fall in three categories. Category number one are guys who love a bit of spirited driving with a blend of luxury. And these are the guys who will bend more towards European cars. I'm talking about the Mercedes-Benz GLE, the BMW X5, and even the Volvo XC60. And then there is the second group. Now, these guys don't really care about luxury, but all they care about is reliability, peace of mind, and practicality. And these guys are the ones who will buy the Prado. If they don't have the money to buy the Prado, they will maybe come down to something like a RAV4. Okay? And then there is a special group, which is the third one. Now, this group belongs to people who appreciate one, class. Number two, they appreciate reliability and peace of mind. And number three, they love luxury at the same time. These are guys who have a touch of sophistication at the same time, all those things that I've mentioned. Now, those kind of people can only buy one and the only Lexus RX450h. And this is just not an RX450h. This is an RX450hL, the long wheelbase version of the Lexus RX450. This is a 2021 Lexus RX450h, and of course it's a facelifted version all the way from 2017. It goes a facelift all the way to 2022. So you have very new filler designs that are going on, and one of them is the spindle grille design. So the previous one had the kawaida spindle grille, but this one has a redesign, and this, I reckon, looks much better. You have your logo there, the Lexus logo, with a blue strip within it to denote that this is a hybrid. Now, if you come on the side, you have your LED headlights with 4 tips, which are very bright at night when you're driving this car. It just makes the luxury aspect of this car pop and function as well. Then you have your L-shaped side blinker that gives you the indication to go left or right. And that, believe me, it is orange. When you look at it, it's white. When it blinks, it's orange. Of course, you have your headlight washers here. It's a luxury car, so there are a few things that you must have. Your parking sensors, and then you have your active fog light. Active meaning if you're taking a corner, this fog light will light and illuminate the location that you are driving this car towards, which makes this car quite awesome. And this car being a 2021, of course, given to us by our friends Alspride along Chania Road. When you go towards Yaya Center, that's where Alspride is. This car is actually 12,000 kilometers on the clock. Brand new, superb. Like, there's nothing that has been used or utilized on this particular car. So now, one thing that you clearly notice, even from the front, is this car sits quite high, and that translates down to how this car has been set up. Now, if you come to the side profile, one design element that will hit your face instantly is the size 20 wheels, and these are Bridgestones, meaning quality and longevity. Again, you have your 5-spoke alloys with an aluminium and black finish. Just makes this car pop in terms of the design. You have your black arcings there, and the cross all the way to the side skirt paka nyuma, and that is just to protect your body in terms of going to your adventure drives. And something else that you need to know, look at how this car is lifted up. No ground clearance, again courtesy of the 20-inch wheels. And I like the profile of the tires that have been set up on this car. They're not low profile, and neither are they very long profile. So you have a balance of comfort, driver dynamics, and ground clearance at the same time. Now, the design key of this car on the side profile, you know, Toyota are very conservative with their design. If you look at it, nothing much has really changed. But you have your lines crossing all the way from the rear to there. Then you have one that joins this wheel arc. It comes all the way and ends around here. Quite interesting. This gap here again, together with the hybrid badge in chrome, makes it look fantastically beautiful. But it's not a car that shouts when you look at it. Again, now, if you're buying this car as a RX450, the one that is not the long wheelbase version, then it will end around this point here, okay? And that gives you very bad boot and practical space. They did little in terms of adjusting how this door sits. I wish they'll have moved this door towards here, because this is the long wheelbase version and it sits 6, okay? So it means you have an extra third of row seats here. There's this car design here that was just crafted kuongezea hapa because they put this thing a little bit back, and I feel they will have done a better job around here. But again, that's what you get from Lexus. I don't believe Toyota and Lexus were going towards making this car a 6-seater, but they have given you what we call an emergency third row of seats, which will give you some value at some point, but not all the time. And we'll talk about that when we get to the interior of this car. Talking about the suspension setup, again, Toyota are very conservative, easy. They don't change things unless they are not functional. So what you have there is a McPherson strut system at the front and a Matlink suspension at the rear, again making this car quite durable and easy to maintain. There's nothing as cheap as the McPherson strut pale mbele ku maintain. It has very little components going on, so it's quite easy. It's the normal suspension you get on any car, but the tune that they have put on this suspension to make this car comfortable is something that I have not experienced in many cars. Coming back to the rear, you have your disc brakes and disc at the front as well. Now, let's roll all the way to the back of this car, because the design key of what you see at the front still rolls all the way to the rear. You know, your spindle grille design is carved into the rear tailgate. There is that L. Come on. I like that. And then you have your RX450hL badge, which again, as I said before, it denotes that this is a long wheelbase version of the RX450. And it's a hybrid. Your parking sensors, your chrome appendages, and I've told you before, anytime you see chrome, you know the manufacturer is trying to go luxury, okay? So simple and straightforward. Now, the ground clearance, look at that. I can literally disappear inside here. Hii gari hauhitaji kuinua hata kuwork on it. Look at how simple. I can actually access everything under this car by not even lifting the car up. Quite easy, quite manageable. And those are the few elements I love about Toyota. Now, let's talk about practicality. And before I talk about practicality, let me stop it, because I need to enjoy the luxury things that Lexus give you on this car. So you have your spoiler with your stoplight at the center. It gives you a 3. So you have one and one here and that one. And just look how those taillights are curved. LED, you know. 2021, of course, you're not getting your bulb. So those are LEDs. They are very nice to the look. They work quite well. But if you break one, that's when you're going to understand that Toyota is not a cheap car, or Lexus for that matter is not cheap. So the reason why I put back the tailgate is because I'm assuming you're a family guy and you've come here and you want to get into the car, and all you need to do is that. Oh, I need to have the key. Pause. Take 2. I have the key now in my pocket. And it finally works. So let's talk about practicality, because that's one serious element about the RX450hL that I need us to discuss. Now, if you buy your normal RX450, I can tell you that there is limited practical boot space at the back. Okay, limited. Like, that's one car that they really did little in terms of providing better space for you to store your luggage. And that's why I need you to consider the long wheelbase version. So if you lower the third row seats down, which is actually done electronically, of course, this being a luxury car, you don't expect it to be done manually, you get a very humongous practical boot space. If you buy this one and lower this, you're actually getting double. So a normal RX450, you'll only get from here to around this space. But because you have a third row of seats, if you lower it, you get double the practical boot space of what you'll get in the Lexus RX450, the one that is normal, the one that is not the long wheelbase. And for me, if I buy this car, I'll rarely maybe use the third row of seats. The only reason I'll buy this car is because of this practical aspect. Hapa unaweza jaza kila kitu. Look at that. It's a very huge boot space. The only downside is because of it's a hybrid, so you have the battery pack sitting right under the seats, especially this, the second and the third row of seats. So you find the boot space slightly higher than normal, but away from that, this is quite huge. Like, you can fit very big suitcases. If you're traveling with a family of 4, you, your wife, and 2 kids, I believe you can fit very serious suitcases here that will serve you for the entire journey. Now let's talk about something here that Lexus have done. So now you have your storage compartment here. This storage compartment houses few things. One of them is this particular element, and I will do a demo of how we set up that one. But you also have your tire repair kit, you have your compressor, you have your jack station there, you know, all those things, you get them down there. Now, when we talk about this, Lexus have found a way to hide it. But again, when they were designing this car, I thought they will have a position where you can attach to just cover the remaining bit if you lift your third row seats up. But unfortunately, they don't do that. So they only gave you a provision to fit this if your third row of seats is down. So this is where it enters. You can see there's a space there. I think I'm the one putting it the wrong way. So you attach it there, and then you put it there, and then you put it. See? Now you can protect your cargo from bad eyes. If you're carrying your Fabian, when you're carrying what that you want to hide from people. A lot of money. You have a point. So if you have gone to the bank and you've withdrawn 15 million Kenya shillings, and you don't want those two chorus to see what you're carrying, you can hide it there and then cover with that. So nobody will be able to see it, which is quite convenient and practical at the same time. And this being an SUV, away from that, of course, you get extras, like you have your hook points. One is here, one is there, and two are on the third row of seats where you can actually tie down your luggage in case you're carrying it. Again, you have your 12-volt socket hapa hivi in case you are driving around for a long distance or a vacation and you need to carry like a small fridge and you need it to be placed at the back of the seats, and you can be chilling there, your drinks, wine. People drive this car, don't baby chrome, so you're doing your serious wines and you need them to be chill so that by the time you get to the location you can pop and just celebrate the beauty of life. Okay, so let's get into this car and then just confirm, does the luxury really translate to what Lexus promise? Hey, yes, I'm talking to you. Did you know that 2 out of 5 cars, foreign used, being sold in the market today, there is a probability that they have been in an accident? If we go to the local used one, it even gets worse. And do you know what that means? It means that the safety of you and your family every time you buy or drive a car that has been bought is at risk. So how do you make sure that the car you're about to buy is safe and of good quality? The answer is head to CARSURE.Africa or download the app from Google Play Store, and there the journey to secure your car begins. And once you're on the app, you'll get a variety of services that will help secure your car ownership experience, like consultation. Did you know that buying a Toyota tank as a Toyota and buying it as a Daihatsu Thor, a Daihatsu will be saving you 100,000 Kenya shillings, even though you're buying the same car? Or maybe your car has been making a lot of noise every time you go over bumps and your mechanic has been over your head. Buy new shocks, which are pretty expensive. What if you book a repair diagnosis to just confirm whether that is the problem? And for those who have saved up 600,000 Kenya shillings and they want to buy their first car and they want to make sure that their money gives them the quality that they deserve, so that usinunue mkebe, uende ukilia ukisema umenunua rogeo na gari haikusaidii. Well, you can book a pre-purchase inspection from CARSURE.Africa and secure your car ownership experience. And I don't do this alone. I have a team of experienced, knowledgeable, and active young engineers to help you all the way on your journey. So, what are you waiting for? Kaa salama na CARSURE. As I said earlier, I believe Lexus didn't have any intention whatsoever to make this a place where an adult will sit. And that shows by the setup that we have here. When I try even just getting in and see how I reckon a big person will not be able to get in here. But there's something else that I need you to see. If you look at this setup of these seats, at the third row of seats, you can see one is slightly behind and the other one is slightly ahead of the other. And the reason behind that is the guy sitting on this one here has all these controls. So these controls are what covers the AC on the third row of seats. So the guy sitting here, if they can fit, they'll have the ability to control their own climate. So they can lower the temperature, they can heighten the temperature, the fan speed, and also where the air is coming from. Okay, so now let me try squeeze myself in here and see how practical. Clearly, you can see even the way my legs sit. It's not a place an adult will enjoy. Let me try to raise. Yeah, let me try this. If I bring the seats back, okay, this guy here can try and survive, okay? But this guy here, no, definitely not. Unless you have a child sitting there, then this guy can get an opportunity. But if you look at this seats palembele, there's almost little. Let me just look. There's almost little space remaining there, meaning this guy will ultimately move these seats behind. So this guy sitting here will not be comfortable. But you have a young child, or maybe a dog, or a paka meow. It can work here. But for a huge person, nah, it won't. But let's talk about the options that you get here. Of course, you have your AC vents, you have your cup holders here to just make this place a bit practical, and then you have your USB charging ports again, quite located nicely for you to be able to enjoy a bit of comfort when you manage to sit on this third row seat. But one thing I can tell you for a fact is the way the seats feel, they make your sit downs feel good. So let's check out the second row of seats and see, is it as practical as they promise? And the way you get the second row of seats, it's quite interesting because there is a carreau in the middle here where you can just move and squeeze yourself and now position yourself nicely. Of course, as I said earlier, you see, now I'm squeezed. But the good thing is you can recline and move the seats from this position. So I'll just pull my handle down there and move my seat to the most comfortable position. Let me lock the door so that I lock out the noise, and then now the Lexus starts being Lexus. Of course, quite comfortable. It's a captain seat configuration, so you get your own armrest, and this guy gets his own armrest. And then the way they have hidden your cup holders is they're attached to the seat, so they're here. So you just press that button and your cup holder comes out. Quite interesting. You have your heated seats both for this guy and myself as well, and you have USB charging ports again for the two. And if in case you have a laptop, you have a charging socket there where you can also do your charging and just to work. One thing they have missed out is that cable that produced from these seats, which can allow you to now use your laptop as you enjoy the luxury ride of a Lexus RX450. Instantly brown merino leather, premium to the core. Hapa juu you have a beige roofline going on and very soft to the touch. I'm not sure whether this is Alcantara. It feels like this. I think this is Alcantara. I believe this is Alcantara. Very soft, very premium, and that's what Lexus lives for. So of course on that level they have accomplished 100%. Now there are a few options that you also get. You have wood finish on the door, backed up with black soft leather, and this one here is what covers you in case the sun wants to deal with your soft mannied skin. Okay, you do that. The only problem is it's manual. I wish it will have been electronic. For the money you're spending on this car, 9 million, that should have been electronic. That's what you get. So let's check out the front of this car and see how practical and how luxurious and what are the options and features that you get when you sit at the front seat of this car. There are features that will cry out loud the moment you sit in a car that is worth 9 million, and to precise, this Lexus RX450. If I put this car on, look at what happens. It brings me to the right position. Did I say it has a wireless charger? Because I just put my iPhone and it's charging wirelessly. Something that I'm not used to when you buy a Toyota or a Lexus. But again, that is something that you get. Of course, it tucks you in well. As I said before, merino leather, premium to the touch.
ETC card is not inserted.
Even the Japanese have agreed with me. Tucks you in well, comfortable to the feel. It makes you feel like you spend your 9 million quite well. And that's something I really appreciate about Lexus. So let's talk about the design features that you have in this car. Of course, being a luxury car, there are things that Lexus have not taken a joke on. And number one is the build quality. Look at that soft leather on the entire dash. Watu wa mlima, please don't weka manyoa ya kondoo hapa mbele. Na Lexus, it cannot work. Please. Okay. Ama niongee na wa Munyoro. Sawa. Nimewacha, okay? But you get the point. Premium soft leather. Of course, these are car that is down to give you luxury in all points. Now, well, let's talk about the infotainment, because there's a bit of controversy when it comes to this infotainment system. But one thing I appreciate as a driver, even though this car is really not a driver's car, this is not a car, as I said in the beginning of the review, the person buying this car is not a guy who will enjoy driving an X5 or a GLE or an XC60 or XC90. This is a guy who is looking for something different. This is a guy who's looking for calmness, peace of mind. When you race past him, he's like, "Huyu ndaza, what is wrong with this one? Huyu shida yake ni nini?" You understand? So this is not a guy who is looking for, but it doesn't take away the point that Lexus have done a bit of design cues here that favor the driver. So this infotainment system and the way the cockpit is set up is laying towards or pointing towards the driver, which makes it quite easy for you to access every little component when you're driving this car. Okay, talking about driving this car, look at that steering wheel. It's real wood paired with premium leather and soft the touch again. Let me just make the steering wheel straight so that I can enjoy how, look at that, with paddle shifters. I'll talk about the effect of paddle shifters because this car has what we call an eCVT. So we'll talk about whether this car is a real CVT or which kind of shenanigans are Lexus trying to do with that. One thing that people have disliked across the entire interwebs, or the owners of this car, is this trackpad here, this one here. I don't know, for me I like it, but I also reckon that my kid will enjoy playing with it more than me using it for functionalities, because it has a tactile feel. It has just a beautiful pointer or cursor that is just playful. I think kids will enjoy it, but not. Okay, let's get back to serious stuff. So you have a huge touch screen that you can control, of course, by a touch of your fingers. It's quite bright, even in a sunny day like this one. It's working. Everything else is working quite nicely. I have better visibility, which makes it very beautiful and functional at the same time. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto enabled, so you connect your phone, everything comes to that screen. So mambo ya maps, so we localize this car to Kenya, no need. These are 2021 car, so you just connect your phone and everything is superbly displayed and ready for you to use on that infotainment system. One thing that again I appreciate Lexus, just like Audi, they have kept the legend of their buttons available. So you have all the buttons. Your climate controls are controlled by a button. These seats at the front, both the driver and the passenger, you have heated seats. You also have ventilated seats at the same time. The only thing that they are missing, unlike the Volvo XC60, is your massage features. Lexus, please, I hope in the 2023 version, because this car will change from 2023, they include the massage feature. That's the only thing that is missing on this particular car, but it is very beautiful. You have your gear shifter here that is gated. Gated ni ile ya manual peke yake, but if you see your gear shifter with corners, that's what we call a gated gear shifter. Again, quite easy and convenient to use. Now if you look at your cluster, you have analog controls paired to a digital screen in the middle that displays a lot of things like your fuel economy, your speedometer or your service records. All that is done digital display in the middle. Coming to the steering wheel, it's multifunctional, of course. You can control it electronically. It's a luxury car towards you, or you can take it back or you can take it down. But something else that you get is you get cruise control hapa chini. You also get your distance adjustment, the car that you're following just here. You know, they've put it quite convenient, easy for you to access. Then you have your lane assist just there on the steering, you know. And this one is very aggressive, by the way. It keeps you at the center of the lane, which is quite beautiful and convenient for this car as a safety feature. So now, practicality. So when you talk about practicality, it's quite simple. You get your glove compartment, which is opened by a button. Toyota watu wamezoea kuvuta, okay? So this one, you don't do that. This one, you press a button and it comes out quite softly and nicely. Then you have your door bins that are adaptable, meaning if you have a huge, let's say, bottle of water, it actually moves. You can move the door bin to fit in a huge bottle. If you have something small, you can close it, and then it can also fit and hold it tightly. Quite a genius idea of creating your door bins to just accommodate a different set of users. Number two, you have your spectacles or shades. a location where you can store them. Then you have your sunroof. Now this sunroof is only for the driver and passenger, something I really agree with the Lexus, because I don't assume whoever is buying this car will be chauffeured at the rear. He'll be the one driving. It's a car that you buy to drive and enjoy the comfort legacy of what Lexus offers. So this one is conveniently placed for me as a driver and the passenger. I'm assuming me, I am the man, and this one is my wife, and so we are going to enjoy our ride. And the kids at the rear, they can watch cartoon. Okay. In addition to the storage options, for the passenger, you have one that is hidden right here where you can store your phone. And then for the driver, of course, you have two cup holders, one for the passenger, one for myself. And then your phone, if you don't want to keep it there, you can position it quite nicely. It has soft padding to just hold the phone in place. In case there is a call, I will not recommend you do that, but of course this phone will be connected here, so everything will be connected to the infotainment system, so you can pick your calls conveniently and easily, but you have the luxury of knowing that your phone is there. In case you break, it will not fly and hit anybody that is parked behind. Memory seats, which makes it easy. It means you can set up any options for 3 drivers, your wife, yourself, and your friend or acquaintance, or your children if you want, for that matter. Away from that, easy and subtle for a comfortable Lexus RX450hL. So let's talk about what is under the hood of this car and confirm, does these paddle shifters really help in anything? How many toys do they go up? Okay, let's talk about what is under the hood of the Lexus RX450hL. Under the hood of the Lexus RX450hL is one legendary engine that is robust and reliable. This is an engine that has been on the Toyota lineup and Lexus lineup for a very long time, and that is true to its nature of serving and delivering what it promises. And this engine is none other than the 3500 naturally aspirated 2GR, but this one is a hybrid, so it will go by the name 2GR FKS, but you can also get it in an unhybrid formation, which will be 2GR FE. Now, what exactly are the unique elements of this particular engine? Number one, something I need you to know is this engine has 3 catalytic converters. Okay, one at the front, one hapo nyuma ikitoka kwa engine, then one right in the middle of the exhaust as it travels all the way to the rear of this car. So in case they are going to steal these things from you, you're going to suffer, because 3 of them, all of them, that's a huge problem, of course. Number 2, something that you need to know about this car is it has what we call a heated thermostat. What do I mean? It means the thermostat is electronically controlled for heating. Means it can get you up to temperatures or adjust the temperatures to suit your demands if you start to drive this particular car. Even though contested, this particular engine comes with what we call a plastic intake manifold. And I can tell you, some people will argue and say, oh, plastic manifold inakuanga mbaya, it is unreliable. Yeah, if you get it on a BMW, probably it will never be reliable. Okay, but if you have it on a Toyota or a Lexus, any day, anytime, I believe the engineers at Toyota have done a good job in terms of making sure that whatever they put on this engine is functional. So let's talk about the power output. So this hybrid setup has 2 motors. So now next to this engine, you have another motor here, and just above it, you have an inverter which converts DC, AC, and vice versa. And then at the rear, you have another motor. So the motor at the rear is what gives this car the ability to have what we call an AWD system, an all-wheel drive system that is electronically controlled or electronically powered by the hybrid system. And then hapa mbele, combined together with this motor, with the engine, you get a combined power output of 308 horsepower, which is quite manageable and accommodative for a car of this size. Now let's talk about the transmission. If you read about this car, or if you ask around this car, they will tell you that this car comes with a CVT. Well, it's not a conventional CVT as you guys are used to, the one that is belt driven, just like what you'll find in a Nissan. No, what you have here is what we call a planetary power split CVT. So technically, it's not your kawaida CVT, okay? Which, you see this CVT that is this car, will outlast many gearboxes or transmissions on the market right now. It's one of the most fantastic, reliable invention that Toyota has ever churned out. And considering this car has only 12,000 kilometers on the clock, whoever is going to buy this car is going to have an awesome ownership experience with this particular car. So let's take this car on the road and drive it and see how does it sit, or how does it differentiate itself from the conventional X5, GLE, XC60, XC90 by extension. Does it live up to what Toyota and Lexus promises, or does it really give value to whoever has the characteristics of the third person that will really buy this car? Wow, what a beautiful feeling. So, of course, the characteristics of the third person is what this car really lives up for. Easy, quiet. Like the first moment I sat here and brought up, let me just bring my windows down so you guys can hear. Hear that road noise? Hear that? So noisy. I know the mic is doing a good job in terms of cancelling it. But once you pull up the windows, everything goes silent. Okay? Completely silent. And that is something I really, really love about this Lexus. Like, it just keeps you in your own world. Okay? You're enjoying your money, you're driving in a scenic location. That's what this car is all about. But away from that, in comparison to the other cars that are competing with this, okay, I'm talking about the XC60, the Mercedes-Benzes and all that. This car sits apart entirely. Like, I can't put them in the same group. Totally. It's not the same thing. This car is totally different. It's a calm car. It's a car that doesn't want you to race or drive quickly. Like, it's a car that speaks or shouts of money. That's what you absolutely get when you buy this car. It's not a noisy one. It's not a car you want to show people what you can do on the road. Okay? Quite beautiful. The drive quality is good. The suspension tune-up is perfect for comfort. Even though you're running your normal coil, suspension has been tuned to give you a very comfortable feel. That's one thing that I really, really again appreciate about Lexus. Having in the back of our mind that it's quite cheap to maintain, it's quite reliable. Fantastic. Now, let's talk about the features. Of course, my steering wheel, as I said earlier, it's heated as well. You have your lane departure. Once I activate it, it's very, very aggressive. I have a very solidly bright heads-up display that again gives you value for money anytime you're paying $9 million to buy this car. And those are the few technological advancements that you get in the Lexus. Again, this has what we call the Toyota Safety Sense as a package, so you get a lot of safety features. And rather than me boring you and running down each and single element of what this car has in terms of technology, here is a voiceover of me breaking down everything around technology on the Lexus RX450h.
Whoever is buying the Lexus RX450h, safety is a very important element, and in this particular car you get the following options: pre-collision systems with pedestrian detection, lane tracing assist, lane departure alert with steering assist, road sign assist, all-speed dynamic radar cruise control, and intelligent high beams.
Now back to the driving feel. I can tell you this is a proper cruiser. This is a car that you want to drive and relax at the same time. It's not a car you want to drive and get tired. It's not a car you want to fight people on the road with. This is a car that you properly put it in cruise mode and just relax and let it remind you how hard you've worked for the money you've paid for this car. The $9 million, it's worth it. Okay? That's what this car reminds you every time you drive it. It's quiet, simple, and beautiful. But don't make that mistake, because under the hood you have a 3,500cc hybrid plant together with two hybrid motors, and those will give you enough power in case you want to roll and also go. Put your feet down. Okay, it pulls, but it doesn't really pull that much. But you just know that you have power there. Fuel economy, right here, my clock is telling me I'm averaging around 11.8 kilometers per liter. That is real life scenario, okay? But this car promises anything between 12 to 14 kilometers per liter of fuel economy, which again is awesome for how big or how heavy this car is. The other thing that we only have to do now is put this car in Sport Plus. The digital class up and belly, you do not have a tachometer, but you get a speedometer that gets you to 260. And then on this side you have charge, eco and power. It's a display of how power is managed in this car, but no tachometer. So the only thing I need to do is I have 3 driving modes. I can do full EV, okay, for normal cruising, but again, if you're doing normal cruising between 0 to 80, this car can stay on full EV mode to give you fuel economy. But if you want a bit of power, it can adapt and change and engage the engine to give you now the power that you're looking for, which is 308 horsepower. Okay, but in case you want to drive between different driving modes away from the EV mode, you have eco, then you have sport, and then you have Sport Plus. Put her in Sport Plus. Okay, she gets up to speeds quite quickly, okay, but you won't feel it. I think Lexus have dialed it down to just be quiet and simple. You don't get that aggressive feel anytime even you put your throttle down. Now let's talk about the gearbox before I go and do 0 to 100. Now the gearbox here, as I said before, it's a planetary power split. It's not your conventional CVT, so it doesn't have the CVT belt as you guys are used to. And that gearbox, as I said before, it is pure reliable, like it's reliability maximum. Okay, this is a gearbox that will outlive many transmissions on the market right now. Of course, there is an all-wheel drive system going on in this car, but as I said before, this all-wheel drive system is unique because it's being done by the rear electric motor. If you buy the normal non-hybrid version of this car, I believe that hybrid setup, because it has a drive shaft, it will give you better usability when it comes to an off-road engagement. But this one, it's easy and subtle for an on-road application. It gives you better torque vectoring to makes it quite easy to handle when you're driving this car. So you can take this car into corners and you'll feel almost little or negligible body roll for the size that this car is and for the ground clearance that it offers. One element of the Lexus RX450h is the seating position. It's a proper SUV, so you sit quite high and you're looking down on people driving around you to remind them that they need to work hard. Okay, of course, that's what you get when you pay 9 million. Something else, the visibility is quite beautiful. I'm not struggling to see anywhere around me. I can see all the cars, I can see all the entry and departure frames of any car on my side, and that is what makes this car another absolute stunner when it comes to its driving dynamics. Okay, so the only thing that we need to do is, even though the person buying this car will not be doing these things, but let's just confirm, if we do 0 to 100, how much speed or how much time will this car make it to 100? Okay, so let me find a nice spot, stop this car and launch it. So I found a nice spot here where we can do 0 to 100. My drag is already set. I know the guy buying this car will be wondering, what are these boys doing? Why are you doing 0 to 100 on Lexus? But we need to confirm. Okay, foot down on the brake. Let me put her in sport. Okay, now sport. Okay, foot on the brake. Are you ready? Let's see. And 100. I know you're not meant to do this, but again, why not? Okay, let's confirm. So 0 to 100 in 9.16 seconds. Okay, it's a sub 10. Perfect for this car. I believe the owner who will be buying this car will not need anything past that. Plus, he will not be even doing 0 to 100. Right now, he's actually cussing me. Why are you doing 0 to 100 on Lexus? Yani, hii gari iko smooth to the point enyewe hii haitaki watu wako na stress. Ukiwa na stress, hii unaweza angusha gari. It's so calm and smooth. Just wants you to have money and peace of mind. Nothing else. In fact, if you ask me to describe this car in one sentence, I'll tell you, it is a smart buyer's version of a Range Rover. Gives you everything a Range will give you in terms of luxury, but it adds on something that is more important: peace of mind and reliability. The RX450h. So let's talk about value for money. So if you want to buy this car for 9 million, what other cars can you buy in place of this? Remember, this is a 2021 unit, so that's why the price is slightly higher. If you bought this car in a 2017 or 2018 configuration, I'll bet you'll spend anything between 6 or 7 million Kenya shillings. But let's put that on the side. 9 million Kenya shillings. You can get a Prado, TZG or VXL. You can get Mercedes-Benz GLE. You can get cheaply BMW X5. You can get a Volvo XC90, not XC60, XC90, 7-seater. Okay, so there's a lot of options that you can get within that budget. But here's where the catch. What this car offers against all those cars I've mentioned is reliability, it's peace of mind, it's comfort, it's luxury, and it's the fact that just like the guys who drive the Mercedes-Benz, you also have a Lexus badge on this, so it makes you stand out. It gives you a bit of class and sophistication. Okay, and those are the people that are going to buy this car. They're looking for all those things. I presume you're at the age where hautaki kusumbuana na vitu, and you don't want to drive fast. You just want a car that gives you the value preposition of being comfortable. You have a bit of class, you have luxury, and most ultimately and important is you have peace of mind. And that is what the 2021 Lexus RX450hL offers. Okay, the third row seats, it's what we call an emergency option. It's there, but it will never serve you as much. I've been your host, Ibrahim Toloi. Kindly give me your comments down below. Which car are you buying? Are you buying this, or you're buying the rest of the competition that I've mentioned before? And give us your comments. Which other car do you want to see on the channel? And kindly please subscribe and give us your support. So far, thank you, and see you on Tuesday for another Redriven